Hi, today I'll be showing you the 5 techniques that you can do in order to convert your Fujifilm X-T3, Sony a7R III, or the Sigma FP that doesn't have that flip out screen or flip up screen, but you can still do some sort of vlogging or a studio camera where you can actually compose your shot and you can see yourself. Let's talk about that 5 techniques right now. Okay, so here we have this camera, the Fujifilm X-T3. As you can see here, I can't really flip the screen upwards or sideways because the limit is that it can flip down and maybe up a little bit on an angle like this and maybe on the side like this, but I cannot flip it up so I can see myself. So what to do if I want to do a vlogging camera where I can compose my shots, see what I'm doing, whether things are in focus or not. So that's going to be tough, right, for these type of camera that doesn't have that feature like the X-T3 or the Sony a7R III or the Sigma FP, which 3 of these cameras I do have, and that is its disadvantage against other camera like GH4 or the X-T4 or the A7C or A7S III, those newer camera, right? So what to do? Should you buy a new camera? Of course not, right? This camera is amazing and we need to utilize whatever we have around us. So I'm going to show you the first technique. The first technique that you could do, of course, is to design or build something like this. As you can see here, I have this mirror that's from my electric bike. My electric bike broke down and I decided, to keep a lot of these parts. One of the parts, of course, is the mirror. So I decided that, again, we have this broken tripod stand as well. So I screw the part of that mirror, like that you have this metal piece, and I screw it into the tripod stand and I attach another part of it to it so that I can secure this mirror on it. And what I do is I would then take the camera and put it on to this tripod, and you can see I can actually see myself. Let's see if okay, so I can actually turn on the camera and I can see, I don't know if you can see that right there, and adjust my camera. Okay, hold on. Yeah, and you can adjust your camera accordingly. As you can see, yeah, there we go. So you can see your image when you try to focus. Now, with this technique, the only issue is that you should try to get a wide angle lens so you can use your hand to adjust the focus. With the Fujifilm X-T3, it's not that bad because the autofocus is pretty amazing. Same thing with Sony a7R III. So the mirrors only allow you to you compose your shot. However, let's say you have Nikon D7000, which is not very good for autofocusing. So what you need to do is get a wide angle lens like 24, 28, 16 mils, and then you adjust that with your hands to adjust the focusing, manual focus, as long as you can reach arm length, and you can do that and you can see it. The reason why you want wide angle lens is because when you try to compose your shot, you want to be able to see everything and you'll be able to reach that lens so you can focus it properly. Okay, so technique number 1 is to use a mirror like this one. This is a very good one because I can now adjust and tilt my mirror any way I want and I can see the image on the back of the camera. Okay, so if you want to build one, there it is. You just get a mirror. Ideally, of course, you want a mirror that has a way to rotate up and down like this, okay, or around like that, and it's very sturdy. All right, the second technique, of course, is using the actual app. Now, for Fujifilm X-T3 and other newer camera, they do have an app that you can actually watch the image and control the camera itself. Let me show you right now the app of this Fujifilm X-T3. Sony camera like the a7R III and a newer model like the a6100 also have this type of feature where you can actually see the video and image while you compose your shot. The first thing you want to do is to load the app on the phone and then turn on your camera and make sure you connect wirelessly to the phone so they will sync together. Just check your manual, check the website on how to do that. Each camera app has a different way of doing it. So Fujifilm has their own way. So I turn both the app and the camera together, and then I'll just press connect to live view, and both of them will be now connected. So here we go. Okay, and you'll see that they will sync together. Now make sure that the Wi-Fi is connected on the same network as like the Fujifilm X-T3 might say 24AD and like that. Okay, and now it should be able to connect together. There we go. Let's see, I'm going to go to the app. Okay, and then I'll connect. Once the network between the two is connected, then you press the live shoot app. And on this, for the Fujifilm, it's a little bit quirky because you have to do, 2-3 press for starting up the app, and then you have to press on the camera and you can press on this app. And there we go. You can see that the image is now on this app. I can now rotate, I can rotate my camera and can see myself. So that's another technique. If your camera has a built-in app on your phone, that's another way to compose your shot. So that's a cheap way because it's free. Hopefully, anyway, when you're buying a camera company, hopefully they give you the app for free. And Fujifilm, they have that ability, okay? So that's the second technique. The third technique is to take a HDMI capture card like this one here. I got this one for under 20 bucks. And the thing is, I thought 20 bucks, is this gonna work or what? Actually, it works really well. So you plug it in and then it will then upload any drivers that's needed. So it's built in the driver, and then you update your computer, you wait a couple minutes and it's all set. Now the software that you can use, now some people recommend using the OBS. I don't really like that program just to look at the screen. Ironically, the best app is actually using Zoom. What you want to do is to take this capture card, the HDMI video capture, you plug it in now, assuming that the driver is already installed. So all you have to do is plug that in like that. And then you take a HDMI wire and you connect to that. And then you connect this to your camera. Okay, so most advanced cameras should have a HDMI output. So you connect to that as well. HDMI output goes to the computer because it's now feeding that video to that. And the next thing is using Zoom, so it's all connected. You click on new meeting, make sure that your setting, the video is gonna be USB, and that's it is. Okay, so now it's in. Turn on your camera and it should be on Zoom. It's a USB video, and there we go. I can see, okay, so there is the image and then there's the camera. All right, it's there. So Zoom can be used as a way to, like almost a screen where you can look at it. So now this is your external monitor where you can view your image. So while you're filming yourself, this is the flip up screen that you wanted. Okay, and remember this is a laptop, it's a huge screen, you can see wherever you want. So that's the third technique, using Zoom app and the HDMI capture card that costs you less than 20 bucks, and the cable, HDMI cable, you can get that. So that's the third technique. Now, some of you already have external monitor, so I do have that. This is the fourth technique. This is more expensive depending on your external monitor. I think these type of monitor, the external one, the smaller one without the recorder costs around 100 bucks, whereas the one like this one, because this is an external recorder monitor, it can do 4K like this Osmo Shogun Inferno, it can cost over $1,000. So that may not be the option for some of you. But since I already have this as part of my camera system, this is also going to be utilized. I actually use this more, this technique, because it has all these other false color and different tools. This will help the cinematographer to adjust their color and shadows and highlights to make sure the image is in perfect condition. Okay, so that's the fourth technique. And the last technique, which is the best, cheapest way, does not require that much, but it requires that you build some model like this one here. I'll show you. Okay, so I'm using a mannequin. There we go. This is a mannequin. I bought this at a dollar store actually. This is like, I think $3. And I drew two eyes. Like I use a red marker and eye, and I tape it like that. So then I have a way to focus on it, okay? And notice how it's on a, I wouldn't say a tripod. This is more like webcam stand or the iPhone stand, okay? So it costs, I think you can get one for under 10, 20 bucks. But this part here, you need that longer legs, okay? So keep it more stable because this is gonna be heavy on top here. Now for this technique, what you wanna do is you set your Anakin model where you want to sit. So I'm sitting here, right? And then you position where the eye and your eye is. And then you go at the back of the camera and then you adjust accordingly manually and making sure that the eyes is in perfect focus. Once it's that, you come back, you sit down, you press record, you sit down like this. And there we go, it's in focus now. This is for cameras that is like the older models where the autofocus is not that great and you want to do all manually. So I love doing, this is one of the techniques I love doing a lot. Even with camera that has a pretty good autofocus, I like to do manual focus, and using the mannequin, I would guarantee to get a perfect focus because, you know, I'm sitting here and I know that the eye is exactly the same distance as this eye here. And when I'm sitting and now I'm recording, I know that this image is now perfectly in focus. This is probably the best technique, the most simplest, and that's what I've been doing for years, right? For keeping everything in focus. And there's no, like, you know, if even the best focus, sometimes, you know, if you're moving your hand like this, right? And the camera doesn't know where that is a face or some object, and it's gonna follow it, and so your face is out of focus. Whereas this technique guarantees that if you have a focus like my face, it will keep that focus on this face. And so this is one of the best technique, the cheapest, of course, as long as you build one of these system, the mannequin, and you put it somewhere where you can have a center of focus like the eye and focus that properly, and you get it done perfectly. So that's the 5th technique. And all these techniques, I think, is valid. It has its pros and cons, but I use all of them depending on the situation. Knowing that 5 techniques, I know that there's no excuse for getting out of focus image. Right now I'm using actually Sony FS700. It's on autofocus. I should have maybe used the manual focus, but I enjoy the autofocus. As long as I'm sitting still, I'm not moving too much. You might see some autofocus image because I'm moving back and forth and like that, and the camera is trying to, you know, focus on my face. But that's okay. Okay, so if I was to, you know, really film the situation where I want it to get the focus correctly, usually I set everything manual, and I would have these techniques in place, so I know I can guarantee that the manual focus will always get that image in a perfect focus. All right, so hopefully you enjoy that 5 techniques. Most of you probably know some of these techniques. Maybe some of you know all the techniques, which is great. Now, if you have another type of technique, please let me know. Write a comment below and give us some suggestion if you have other way of doing it. Thanks for watching EducateTube.com.